Welcome to Sex Sisters in the City. Grab your Manolos and martinis from the dirty South to NYC. Carrie, Miranda, Charlotte, Samantha, we feel like we know you. Big and Stanford and all the other sub-characters, we'll talk about them sometimes too.
We're here, episode 7.
Episode 7, we made it pretty far.
This is crazy.
Here we are.
I didn't think. I mean, look at us.
Look at us. We haven't fought once, guys. That's a big deal for us.
It's kind of like therapy, I think, a little bit.
I actually totally think it is.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking we're gonna run out of stories, and then every episode I watch, I'm like, oh, I haven't told this.
No.
I got this to share.
You would think we've told all of our stories
Yeah,
to each other.
but they never seem to run out.
No.
Welcome to episode 7, the Monogamists.
Wonder what it's about.
I didn't expect it to be about blowjobs when I read
Definitely
the title.
not.
But
I forgot about this episode.
I kind of did too.
This
And
will definitely be PG-13, maybe even rated R.
maybe R. So,
A lot of jobs.
a lot of jobs being discussed. If you have kids in the car, or if you're listening with your dad, maybe just
Maybe
do it later.
don't.
Put headphones in.
Mhm.
We can just start. So within the first shot, 9/11 jump scare.
Oh, I'm so glad that you also saw that.
I was like, oh God.
Oh, God.
Oh God.
There was a different time. It's crazy. You
It
don't
is.
even think about it.
It is crazy. I was just like, oh wow. Oh, that's
Oh.
they don't know.
They don't know. Jump scare.
I just wanted to go back in time and save them all.
And you want to know. Yeah, you want them to know.
You want them to know.
Yeah.
So
And then you wonder how Sex and the City is still happening post 9/11.
I know.
And it's kind of crazy. And I don't think they ever talk about it.
No, they never. There's an episode later that, I mean, I watched and I was just waiting to get to 9/11 because for some reason I thought they would address
They
it.
would address it. Friends, too, I don't think they do.
No.
I could be wrong, but I don't think that they address it either.
There is an episode that we'll get to later on Sex and the City that is like an ode to New York that happened post 9/11 that was an added episode onto the season. And it was
Oh.
just an ode to New York type of episode.
Nice.
We'll get there.
We'll
you know, let's enjoy the pre 9/11
Yeah.
world for now.
Yeah. We'll
get
there.
I found the beginning of this to be really romantic.
I said the same thing. I was like, they're so cute.
They're really cute. I thought that the quotes were really beautiful.
yeah.
Like lately, it seemed the entire population of the city had been reduced to only 2 people. Us.
You can tell we're both happily in relationships.
we're down
Anyone
bad.
else who's not or might be going through a breakup.
Yeah, they're like,
sorry.
Fuck this.
Fuck you. Fuck that.
Fuck this. A few days apart felt like weeks. It should be studied, the peculiar effects of infatuation.
Yes.
And
Very
I do.
nice.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anyone who's ever been in love or not even love, ever been really into someone can relate to these feelings.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the writing is a little sappy, but I can't help but kind of blush.
I
think it's
blushed.
cute.
Yeah. And they just looked so fucking cute on the sidewalk.
And then they ruined it with a weird heart-shaped transition.
What's up with
What
that?
this just keeps happening to us, these jump scares. Like, what? It's just that.
What was it? It seems to be maybe a season 1. They were just all over the place.
All over the
And
place.
maybe that's what pre 9/11 was to people. They could just do like weird shoes and
whatever you wanted.
and hearts. People were.
A lawless country.
It was lawless, and there was so much more whimsy in the world.
Oh, God.
There was more tolerance for whimsy. I bet people who saw it were like, "Oh, cute," not like us. Like, what the fuck?
What
What is
that?
wrong with you?
Yes, more tolerance for whimsy. Bring it back.
Bring back the pre 9/11 world of
Whimsy.
Whimsy. I loved her pink dress here. Very Elle Woods. Super cute on her.
Oh,
It
super
was
cute.
big.
Yeah.
Um,
Loved.
And then she had committed the cardinal sin.
Yeah, and I think we've all been here.
Blowing off your friends for a boy.
First few weeks of the relationship, I feel like it's, it happens to the best of us.
Have you ever gotten in trouble with a friend?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Well, if I'm in a relationship, that's like my whole life and identity.
Yeah.
So, yes, I am ashamed.
Yeah.
And yes, I've definitely been accused.
I absolutely have. So in my current relationship, being my marriage,
oh, that one.
I didn't fall into this trap because I didn't have any friends at the time that we met. We met when I moved here to Atlanta, and I didn't have any girlfriends.
Greg was your only friend.
He became, and so he was blowing off his friends for me, and I was like, well, I'll just come with you all the time because I don't have anything else to do. Yeah. But in college, I actually had potentially my worst fight of my life with my friend. The story is I went to Europe on a trip with my family for 2.5 weeks. It was the summer after school ended, and I came home, and she was being really sweet, being a really great friend. And she was like, hey, I really want to hear about your trip. Like, let's hang out tonight. Like let's get dinner, whatever. I can't wait to hear about your trip. We had made plans, and then what do you know? This guy I was seeing was
who's now your husband.
No.
Oh, wait.
No.
You didn't even like him that much.
Boyfriend even. I was like Carrie, where he was not even my fucking boyfriend, and I blew her off because I wasn't even like I had plans with him. It just like fell into my lap that we were gonna hang out, and I just chose that to pursue hanging out with this person who, again, did not really give a fuck about
Who
me.
was that? Did I ever know him or meet him?
No.
Never even spoke about him.
Never serious. Like never, just a person. And we, in my head, it wasn't a big deal. I was just like, whatever, I'll just see her tomorrow. But for her, she was like, I fucking made plans with you. I wanted to hear about your trip. I wanted to like be a good friend to you and have a good night. And like, I fucking blew her off. And I was kind of just like, oh, whatever. She needs to get over it. It's not that big of a deal. But in hindsight, it ended up being a fight that we fought for like a couple weeks. We didn't speak. And then when we finally confronted each other about it, she was just like, that was a shitty friend move. Like, it was not cool. And I was like, you're fucking right. That was awful.
Yeah. I think that has definitely happened to I don't think there's a lot of people that can say they have not done that.
Yeah. I think it added insult to injury because he wasn't a serious person.
Yeah.
Like if it was my boyfriend or whatever, then it would be understandable.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, whatever, you're going to hang out with your boyfriend. But because it was like, this guy doesn't give a fuck about you.
You just wanted to get laid.
Basically.
Yeah.
And it was a very valuable lesson that I really still think about actually because of how shitty I felt when we finally did talk about it and how we like wasted so much time of our friendship because I prioritized a shitty fucking guy ahead of her, ahead of like a lifelong friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, it made me think about that.
That's definitely, I've definitely been guilty of that. I remember in undergrad when I moved in with after dating for like a month. And
I warned her about this. I was like, don't do that.
And one of my best friends in the whole world were living across the hall from us in the same complex. And I hardly ever saw her because I was too busy with this new relationship. And yeah, I always feel bad about that. I always feel kind of like, and she's the best. She's just the best person in the world.
Great.
So she just had a little baby.
Congrats to you too.
Congrats.
Yeah, I do think it like becomes a valuable lesson too. I think it's like, and sometimes you need a friend to just kind of like snap you out of it and be like, hey dude.
And also kind of like hold you accountable too, not totally take it easy because like there's definitely some friends that are like, yeah, whatever, like you do you, like I get it. And I kind of appreciate the friend that's more like, no, like, come on. Like it kind of gives you a hard time for it.
Yeah. And in the end, it's what I think we all need sometimes when you're in La La Land or
exactly
whatever. I was literally just like, oh no, he's here. I'm gonna blow off everything because I just want attention and male validation.
Yeah.
So her friends are pretty understanding. Miranda kind of ribs her about it a little bit, but for the most part, they're like, let's get dinner. And I rewatched it and I noticed she's like, oh yeah, well I can't hang out with Big that night anyways. He's got a dinner thing, which we figure out what the dinner thing is later. And
then Miranda says, like, listen to yourself.
Yeah. Like, come on, it's so, I mean, I do this all the time. And granted, I'm married, but I'm like, oh, well,
if Greg has something going on, you're going to go make plans.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's often when I'm waiting. I'm like, oh, he's got golf on Saturday, so let's go get lunch on Saturday.
Which is reasonable when you're married, I think. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we all fall into it.
I'd put Love the Blue on Carrie.
Yes.
She's sitting, so you can't really see the full outfit, but
you see it later.
The style in this episode is fantastic.
It's a really good fashion
episode.
I had a tough time picking my best dressed. She says, that night I faced the tribunal.
Mm-hmm.
The girls all look amazing at dinner. Miranda is working on a merger. Samantha is looking for an apartment. And Charlotte is practically engaged.
And so Charlotte hasn't fallen off the face of the planet, which checks out to me because like you totally know that one girl that's so responsible and so just she doesn't get in a lot of serious relationships. When she does, she's very good about balancing the relationship. She'll see him like once or twice a week.
Yeah.
And she still keeps her relationships. She's good at rules. And you're over here like, I get to meet a guy the first day and we're spending every single second of every single day together, you know? And so I can't even like, but I know that there's girls like that, and Charlotte's definitely, and I commend them for it.
Absolutely. I will say my friend Natalie in Chicago is great about this.
Yeah.
Whereas when I'm in a relationship,
we're Carrie.
we're Carrie.
And she's Charlotte in this situation.
And it's good to have a friend like Charlotte.
Yeah, because then I'm like, oh, Charlotte's also in this great new relationship, but she's been keeping up with the girls and being a good friend. And you can do both.
You can have it all.
Oh, and then I said they're doing this weird thing with the camera where they're like talking into the camera.
Yeah,
and I'm like, are you
me
talking to me?
They're so close to the camera too.
Yeah,
it's like
kind
so
of weirdly
close.
Experimental.
But I just found they all just looked so pretty. Like that's what I was staring. I was staring at it because the camera is so close to Charlotte's face, and I'm like, she looks so beautiful. She's like so they all look really gorgeous. Miranda does too. Samantha always does. And this was okay. We get into the Charlotte storyline where she goes, he's perfect, but there's one thing. And I have a lot to say about this. Well, first, before we learn about what the one thing is, have you ever met a guy where you think he's perfect, but there's one thing? Like,
absolutely.
Like, do you have a story about that one thing and how big or small it might have been?
That's a little on the nose.
Oh.
Hey,
that's the one thing.
Oh, yes. Okay, that's one. And then without getting into too far of detail. And then I dated this guy.
Oh yeah.
And I think I've talked about him on this before.
You have.
Just so handsome.
So handsome.
Just very, very good looking. Very nice. But about as dull as you can.
He was so dull.
Just so dull. There wasn't really a cell in there that was on, I think.
That was interesting or charismatic.
God, he was good looking.
That's kind of a big thing, I suppose.
Really a small thing.
I was thinking about when I first started dating Greg, I obviously found him to be perfect in every way. I was like, he's handsome, he's funny, he's smart, he's so perfect, but there's just one thing. And I think I told my mom about this. I might have told you this. I was like, this just was one thing. It's tough for me to get past. And I was like, what? I was like, his dog voice, the way he talks to dogs. It gave me such an ick. Like, it was so funny. And we got past it. And
I don't even know. I feel like you guys talk to Todd the exact same way.
so I have since picked up his dog voice.
I love his dog voice.
Yeah.
I love both of your dog voice.
It's
Jono.
Jono. Like, it's funny. It's just like, I'm more of like, before I was like, hi, like high pitched or whatever, but he's got like kind of like, hey.
And now you both do it exactly the same.
But it was like our second,
No.
literally, it was our second or third date that we went to go meet his brother and his dogs. And I was just like, whoa, that's your dog voice.
That can be a big thing.
It wasn't though. That's the thing. It's not a big thing. It was just like, when you first, and I've told him this story, so I'm not afraid of him hearing this. But I told he's so perfect, except just his dog voice.
Yeah.
I got past it clearly. And
That's so funny because I would have never noticed that.
but I think it's just an example of when you get in a new relationship and there's just like things in your head that try to talk you out of it.
Yeah.
For whatever
Oh,
reason.
definitely.
Like, he's too perfect, so I'm going to almost invent this thing.
Self-sabotage.
Yeah. and
Definitely.
That's probably what it fell into. And it was just like, there's just this one thing and it's so stupid.
I think Charlotte's one thing.
It's a little bigger.
It's kind of.
It's awful.
It's
actually.
awful.
It's bigger than one thing. It's like an ideology.
It's almost assault.
Yes. So when it first showed it, I thought that it was just going to be like, he lets the dog in the room during sex.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
I was like,
And I
that's
was like,
weird, but you just picked
weird.
the dog
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
No, it was much worse. The blowjob,
Tug of war. So we flash to Charlotte and her new man, and they're making out on the couch. And he just starts to slowly push her head down into his lap.
Ugh.
If I had a dime.
Oh my God. Who among us? That's awful. Like,
so
how
awful.
Disgusting and awful.
God. And the thing is they're fully clothed. It looks like they just started making out. They're on a
Kissing.
couch.
They're kissing on the couch to take someone's head and smash it down there.
That's crazy.
That's so crazy.
I think I would hit someone. I don't know what I would do. I would be so scared.
I would be out of there. That is like actually kind of assault. I think that's crazy.
No, that's crazy. It's one thing if you're like fully hooking up. Maybe you're both like in bed, undressed, like it's on. And you kind of like, I don't know, but even then,
I think even then,
pushing the head down is I don't know.
No, that doesn't happen to me.
No,
Like,
that's crazy. No, that's crazy.
I think if you want, it's like what Miranda said, you give head to get head. So if that's what you're interested in as a man, you go first.
Exactly.
And then she'll take the hint. But I think that's fucking insane. And
No,
I felt
crazy.
so bad for her. Charlotte just
And it's Charlotte.
She keeps getting into these situations.
She keeps getting into these crazy situations with guys.
Oh, I felt so bad for her. And she says, the truth is, I hate doing it.
I hate doing it. And she's so cute.
I know. I felt so bad for her.
I did. I love that she's so open, though, about it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there would be, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like prudish to say you don't like doing it. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't know. It's kind of like, but it's not. But I feel like some people think that it is.
Yeah, especially in her circle of friends, like she
might be the outcast
for
there.
sure. I actually know plenty of women who hate doing it.
Yeah.
Which I totally get too. So I think I fall more on the side of the other women, and I think it's like a powerful tool for intimacy. And even my friends who don't like it, I've kind of questioned, like, really? Like, why? And so, and I think for some men too, it's not as important. They might just be like, that's fine. Like,
I've definitely come across that before where like guys almost, they don't expect it.
Yeah.
And then when you do it, they're very happily surprised.
All the girls seem to like it, but they also don't get, and then Miranda says something I think was powerful. She said, okay, well, if, how do you expect him to go down on you if you're not giving him head? And she goes, I don't.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, who cares?
Well, then who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
If she doesn't expect it, and then I think that's fine and that's fair.
Then that's it. Exactly. Like
Case
if
closed.
she's not expecting it and she doesn't want to do it, then she's going to have to find someone who's okay with that and like who is not who does not want her to do something she doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
You know?
And I do feel like it makes sense why someone would be like, oh, you don't do that, I'm not interested. I can see, and I think that is like okay.
I think so too. I agree.
But also I maybe make that clear from the jump. You know?
Yes. I don't think the way he goes about it is kind or good, but I'll say I don't know if I would be interested in being with someone who was not interested in doing that for me for the rest of my life. If it's a serious conversation, that's not, you need to be someone who's sexually compatible with you, who wants to.
I think that's just what it comes down to.
Exactly.
Sexual compatibility.
I thought it was a very progressive conversation.
Yes.
All in all, just, you give head to get head. And Samantha goes, amen.
Amen.
They all walk out of the restaurant looking very chic.
God, Samantha's dress. all of Samantha's outfits in this episode.
Her
amazing.
Body is just a tea. Her posture is amazing. Everything. I mean, Samantha and Carrie look fucking fabulous.
Fabulous. They all do.
I say that as I adjust my posture.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, Miranda even looks very funky and cool. She's wearing a cool tie.
I'm starting to love her big suits.
Me too.
Very Billie Eilish. I love it.
Rocks them. Charlotte's in just kind of a suit. She must be coming from work.
Yeah.
And then they see Big on a date.
So hard. So sad.
It's crazy, but it's also, she doesn't
think it's a date. She is totally unaware.
She's totally taken off.
So Samantha kind of stops. She's like, "Is that Big?" And then Carrie's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go say hi." Yeah. Right there, I would grab my friend and be like, "Looks like he's on a date. Maybe you don't want to go do that."
She goes over really thinking "Oh, it's my boyfriend. I'm just gonna go say hi." It's not a world where I wouldn't say hi.
No.
And I just felt so bad for her.
So yeah, and she kind of looks down, hoping that maybe he'd say, "This is my sister." I don't know, but he doesn't say that. And so she pulls him to the side and is like, "Oh, so you're seeing other people?"
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, "Yeah, I am."
It was so sad.
I would be so mad. I would make a scene.
Yeah. No, I know. She says, "Are you on a date?" And he goes, "Sort of." Jail. Jail.
I would be so mad. I could not hold myself together like she does.
No, I found it even admirable.
I'm very
No, me too. I found it admirable that she would even say, "Can I talk to you for a second?" Because, well, first of all, if I was in this situation, I would have gone over there. I would have immediately jumped to the conclusion he's on a fucking date, and I went to go bitch with my friends. Mm-hmm. If I did have the balls to go over there and do that, and then take him aside and here you're on a date, sort of, I would be fucking livid.
I would be furious.
I would be like, "All right, go fuck yourself."
Yes.
Literally.
Oh my God, yeah, I would do. And she's just obviously she's a little bit mad, and she's like, "Enjoy your dinner."
Yeah.
And kind of gives him a slap on the chest. But oh no. Mm-mm. I would have handled it so poorly. And her friends are just looking like this.
They're like, "Oh God,
oh God,
fucking asshole." I probably know the answer because this is such a crazy situation. Has this ever happened to you?
So when I was dating in Dallas, we just hung out at the same places all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say he was my big because he wasn't, but we definitely, we dated for a year, 2 years maybe, or a year and a half, and we never ever had a conversation about exclusivity. I kind of had a feeling he was seeing other people. I was more I just didn't want to know, kind of. I was a little bit in denial about it, and just very low self-esteem at the time. It was okay, you do whatever you want.
Oh, okay, that's
okay. And so there was a time where I went to the bar we always go to. And he was with a girl that I had heard about in the kind of the ether. They weren't alone though; they were with friends.
Yeah.
But I wasn't invited, and these were friends that I had to I knew everyone at the table, and they're sitting very close to each other, very snug, in the booth. And I go over and I grab his face and I kiss him. And I'm like, hi. And then I look over at the girl and I'm like, hi, I'm Morgan. And just like, I didn't know what to do. So I was just like, maybe wanted to like claim him. I don't know what it was. But I was also so mad. And so I regret even ever going over the table. Like, I wish I would have just gone to the other table. And it was really awkward. Like, it was so awkward. Like, he did not really kiss me back. Like, it was like, it was awful. And my friends that I was with, like, we all go sit at the other table, and I just like bury my head in my hands, and they're all just like kind of patting my back, and they're like, what the fuck just happened?
Oh no.
And so we're just sitting, and we're
we could see each other from across the restaurant at this point. And we're just like, I'm like kind of looking over there, like he'll kind of look, and it was just so awkward and terrible.
That's awful.
So yeah, that's definitely, and like now I know for sure that they were hooking
for
up.
sure.
Absolutely.
But you obviously, like most people, didn't have the balls to be like, are you on a date right now?
Oh God, I don't know what I wish I just hadn't gone to the table. I wish I just would have walked right past him and not said anything. I think that's what I should have done rather than kissing him and giving the satisfaction.
I don't know, man. I don't know what I would have done in that scenario. That's
It's like those things just happen, and then you're like, I don't know. It's hard to know exactly what to do in these situations.
I mean, the times that I was ever really seeing someone, and you know, it was never very exclusive, so I would tend to see them with other people all the time, and I would be seeing other people, so it was just it was awkward. And
and I was also seeing other people, so I probably, but I was mad, you know, because also like you think about, we just spent like every day together for like the past week, and how did you even have time to keep up with another like fling?
And that's how Carrie
feels. She's like, I don't, and then she goes home and she starts writing her column, and she's like, I wouldn't even have room for this.
Like she said, it would feel like overfilling an already filled suitcase. She says she's stunning. I should know, because frankly she stunned me. And then she walks out with her girls. She looks amazing in the blue dress. Like,
she looks so good.
Her body, you just see the outline of her whole body in it, and it looks fucking amazing. And then she, as she's writing, she goes, do men have an innate aversion to monogamy? I think yes. A man settling down has nothing to do with who you are as a person or who you are as a partner. It has everything to do with them. So I think there's this myth in modern day. There's a myth that's been happening forever, that is, a man will settle down when he finds the right woman. You know, if you're the right person, then he'll change his ways for you. And that's just not true. I think a man settles down when he is ready to settle down.
Amen, sister.
There is he will hit a point in life where he's ready to make that commitment and make that jump, and he's ready to have a girlfriend, whether it's because all his friends are getting married and having girlfriends, or you know, he wants someone to share his life with, and he's done dating or sick of dating or whatever. But and then from there, he will find a person that checks his boxes that he loves or whatever. But it has nothing to do with oh, you know, you didn't do anything right, or, you know, this other, it's got so much more to do with timing, I think.
I think so. And there's obviously exceptions to the rule, but I do think more than not, this is definitely the case, unfortunately. My other question was the exclusivity convo. Yeah. How long to wait? Should it be assumed ever?
I don't think it should ever be assumed.
Yeah, obviously.
I think it's dangerous to assume things. And I don't think in any relationship I've ever assumed, call me scarred, but I was always under the assumption that the guys I was with would be seeing someone else typically. And then the way I've played it every time, I think you have to use your best ability to discern whether a guy is ready for it. The only 2 times I've ever had that conversation, it's worked out for me. I've had a handful of serious boyfriends, and the 2 times that I kind of brought it up first were, I think this is a trick. I think I did this well. You just say, okay, should I be seeing other people? You frame it as are we seeing other people? Should I be going on dates? I think that's a good way to say it. Yeah. If you frame it in that you have other options and there are other people wanting to go on dates with you.
They're like, that kind of throws them a little bit off guard. You're like, oh, what? I thought I was just seeing other people.
Exactly.
You can't see other people.
Yeah. If you frame it as like, oh, so can I go on a date with someone else, or should I be going on dates with other people? Because, I have, you kind of say it you don't say it in a threatening way.
I think you should say, so should I stop seeing other people?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Should I stop seeing other people?
I think that's a good, if you're planning on having this conversation, and even if you're not, I think that it's just a way to be like, there's always another option. If that's what you want, that's okay. And trying not to like pressure anyone into doing that.
It puts you in the position of power.
Yes.
Because it has nothing to do with you wanting to control them. It has everything to do with you're just trying to make sure they're aware of the fact that if you're seeing other people, like, oh, are we doing that?
Genius.
Yeah.
Genius.
And that's been the way that it's worked for me, because they're all of a sudden very like, oh, I don't want you to be seeing other people.
Yeah, I think that's genius. Do you think that there's a certain time, like a timeline to have this conversation? Do you think that it's all about like how much you're seeing each other during the week? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, my thoughts are probably it's based on frequency. So I don't think you should go off like 5 dates. Then you can have this conversation. Because if you have 5 dates over the course of like 5 weeks, you may not even really know them that well.
Yeah.
Like, and if you also have had 5 dates in the course of 2 weeks, you might not. So I would personally judge it. Like in my experience, it happens after about a month to 2 months. Like 4 to 6 weeks of like consistently seeing each other probably multiple times a week.
Yeah, I think so. I remember someone said this to me once. They were like, I think it's after you go on a trip together.
Oh.
And I think it's because going on a trip with someone can really make clear whether or not you can see a future with somebody.
That's a great
I think there's some truth to that.
I like that.
Might be a little privileged. Not all of us are.
You fuck around and find out really quickly on a trip too. So have you been on a trip that's ever gone awry? How many times, I guess?
I guess not. Never anything that's
been a deal breaker.
I don't think so. Oh, maybe? No. I was going to say that Austin trip I kind of talked about.
I was wondering about the Austin trip.
But even then I was like, it wasn't a deal breaker.
I know that didn't go well though.
No, it did not go well. It was terrible. So I've definitely had bad trips, but I don't know. Maybe that's not, maybe I'm not the person to ask.
I would say for me, it's not often that I would go on a trip with someone I wasn't exclusive with. But I can understand.
See, I'll move in with someone before we're exclusive. So that's my problem.
You move
that's my gauge if I want to be in a relationship. Let's move in together.
Move in with you?
And then we'll see if we want to be exclusive.
Yeah. Have you ever had this? Do you have opinions on the when to be exclusive conversation?
I agree. I think that it's about frequency. I also feel like you can almost sense it. It's a tension in the air. It's kind of like you're both just like kind of waiting to say it. I think you can feel it.
Yeah.
I think you can also feel when the person does not want to have that conversation.
Exactly.
And they'll do everything that they can to avoid having it. And then you kind of know. And I think that if you like the person enough, you kind of set it aside and you say, okay, but here's another question. What if you have the conversation and it's with someone you really, really like, and they say, well, no, I still want to see other people.
Oh, they pull a big.
I mean, do you kind of go, okay, I'll give it a couple more months? Or are you like, I think it's
case by case.
Case by case. I think it's how much do you like this person? But Carrie, head over heels right now.
I applaud women who have the ability to, I don't know, have the self-assurance to be like, oh, okay, you don't want to be exclusive. Well, I'm looking for something exclusive, so I'm done. And I'm going to go find someone else. I think that that's amazing. I've never had that if I really like someone, then I'm going to hang on for a little longer. But I think if that is the case, then you should see other people. Like you should not be exclusive with them if they're not exclusive with you.
Agreed.
And maybe you can hope for something else, but I think you need to keep your options open. And maybe he'll wise up and maybe he won't. It seems to me that if a guy would say no to that, then it just means that he's not there. And it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. And if you're really looking for something serious, the best thing to probably do is to be like, okay,
I got to go find.
Because I'm looking for that. And maybe just slowly detach. And if they decide, oh shit, I lost a good one, then they'll come back and you can entertain it again. But yeah, I think I completely agree with you where you say it's a vibe. I think it's a vibe. You can
feel it when the conversation's coming up and you can feel it when someone's really avoiding it.
Yeah. And that's how you kind of know. And if you have to question it, he's probably not ready.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Exactly.
And you're dealing with a big. So she and Stanford then go, oh, wait, I missed this. So back to Samantha's apartment search. She's
the second outfit that's 10 out of 10, by the way.
Yeah, it's like a snakeskin suit. It's so cool.
I love it.
You see her with her female real estate agent, and then it goes, well, she doesn't believe in monogamy. Yeah. She goes to the hot real estate agent. She starts banging him.
She's like, she can combine her two loves, real estate and sex.
Yeah. I loved that for her. Not much to say about it. Just
Sam being Sam.
Just Sam being Sam. I loved it. Then Carrie and Stanford go out for Cosmos. As
Stanford sighting.
I love Stanford
God,
sightings.
I get so happy Stanford scenes.
He's so cunty in this scene.
I love him.
Best. He says, monogamy's so out. Yeah. As the millennium approaches, everyone's leaving their options open.
That's just like, I think back to the gays, man. They've just got it figured out.
They do.
I don't know what they're doing, but they're so happy and they're not monogamous, but they're not crying about it either. Like, it's just, I don't know.
I agree. They seem to like have it all figured out there.
And they're kind of gatekeeping.
They're like,
tell us what to do.
Yeah, as the millennium approaches, everyone's leaving their options open. It has nothing to do with the millennium. It's just, I had a tough time saying millennium.
Millennium.
It has nothing to do with that. It just has everything to do with mostly men, I think. Carrie looks so cute here in her yellow wrap dress.
She looks so cute. And then introducing Justin Theroux. Maybe one of his first ever scenes in a hit show.
I had never seen him before this moment, that's for sure. He's wearing the most awful choker set.
He has an awful outfit on.
It's so bad.
His hair is really bad. It's like dyed black and it's weird and spiky. But he's so handsome.
He's such a handsome guy. Wasn't his best showing. He has like kind of a unibrow too.
It's odd.
There's something going on there.
It's odd.
I think they purposely maybe made him more unattractive because they're like, well, we want to show that she's not really even that interested in him.
Yeah.
He's on the 30 under 30 list, which just that fact alone, like I'm getting into bed with someone if I'm Carrie. 30 under 30.
Yeah.
And then he makes a really creepy come on to her though. He said, if they were to do the 30 sexiest under 30, you'd be at the top of the list. That would give me the ick.
It didn't age well.
No, it's very bold, very icky.
Very bold. Yes. And then they go, and then flash forward to Carrie's apartment where she's like, I used to be excited about like these little, like someone hitting on me in the first 15 minutes of knowing them. And now it's just exhausting.
Yeah.
And I think once you really like someone, that little spark of like maybe going to a bar and getting hit on or like just being in a grocery store and someone's looking at you, like that little kind of excitement, it goes away. Completely. I think it really does. And it's almost like, why am I here? Why am I at this bar? I have someone else that I like more.
Yeah, like I just want to go home to him.
Yeah, this doesn't interest me.
Yeah, like I just wish he was free tonight because I hate doing this. I think exhausting is a really great word for it. It all can just feel a little bit exhausting.
And I think that's how you kind of know if you really like someone.
When you don't want to see anyone else.
Yeah.
Like fully. And she doesn't want to see anyone else. She's down bad. And then fucking Big calls. The gall on this guy. He says, I miss you, baby.
He's calling to confirm their date. And he's so just like confident, like nothing happened. And I think that guys today would at least address it. I have to think that maybe I have too much confidence in men, but at least be like, hey, I'm sorry about the other night. You know, we haven't really had the conversation. So, you know, I didn't think it'd be that big of a deal, but I did not mean to hurt you. Maybe that's how I would approach it.
That would be literally a great way to handle
But
it.
like, I think that that's the least he could have done in that situation.
Yeah.
Like, don't just call and act like nothing happened. Like, it was an awful situation.
I completely agree. There were many ways to handle that, and just like
just don't
casually
like-
saying
yeah.
like, miss you, baby. And he even told her at the restaurant, he's like, can we just talk about this Saturday? And I was so annoyed that he's just like talking about his date with her while he's on a
Was
date
he on
with
another
someone.
date?
I was striving for non-committal, but I was worried I had just ordered on shrill.
I'll pick you up today.
Yeah, it's fine.
I miss you, baby.
Yeah, me too. There were so many questions I wanted him to answer but would not ask.
And she said like, I was trying to sound
Non-committal.
non-committal, but instead I ended up sounding shrill.
Yeah.
If I had a dime.
God. That just breaks your heart.
I know,
for
you're-
women everywhere.
You're trying so
You're
hard
trying so hard to be the cool
to
girl.
play the game
And you can, and sometimes it's hard to cover up that you're actually pissed.
and like sad
And sad.
scared and
Mhm.
you know, and
It
yeah,
broke my heart.
she's able to get someone else, but she doesn't fucking want to.
Yeah.
She likes him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all these questions I wanted to ask that I couldn't ask him. So instead I asked Miranda.
Yep.
Which love that. She goes on a cute little pasta date. The spaghetti looked fire.
cute.
It
It
was like,
does.
I
Yeah.
want some of that.
Yeah. I love her and Miranda's relationship. I think
I feel like they might be the closest.
they are. I think there's
Mhm.
something special between them.
Yeah.
And I just like how Miranda uplifts Carrie. Samantha does this too, but she's such a good friend to her. She gives her the best advice.
She's very warm. She tells Carrie always not to be so hard on herself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like the friend that you want to go to spaghetti with when you need
Yes.
to like analyze the text. Carrie has this very interesting quote that I had to pause like 3 times to write down. She said,
Well, no, because that would mean that everything that he ever said that I interpreted as sincere is subject to interpretation. In that case, what I perceive as his feelings for me may only really be reflected projections of my feelings for him.
what?
I could write an essay on this. Everything he's ever said to me that you've thought is sincere might have just been your own reflection. Like you're just like basically pinning your own feelings on what he must feel, you know, that you've interpreted as sincere, which might just be him saying, I miss you. And it could just be that. Like, I found that to be really powerful. I think nowadays girls do this with analyzing fucking text messages, you know? When it's really just an
Okay. And there's
Yeah.
nothing more than that.
There's nothing more than that. Or like sometimes I miss you might not be this declaration of love, or it's not an I'm sorry. It's not like what you just said you would have wanted to hear. It's just like, I miss you.
I miss you. And it's just about as flippant as anything.
Exactly. He just said it, you know?
And we think a little bit too much into it sometimes if we have those feelings and they might not be as reciprocated as we want them to be. And so we start making up stories.
We make up stories and things just aren't that deep, you
Yeah.
know, especially when you're dealing with men. It's not that deep very often.
That'll be the clip we post.
It's just not that deep. Yeah, the scene is very relatable in that way. And then and
Yes. Skipper sighting. A Skipper and a Stanford sighting.
we need like a bell.
We did Skipper.
Sighting.
Yeah. Skipper comes walking over like, God, handsome man he is, with a new gal.
New gal who works at Vogue, who's very confident.
Cool girl.
Lived in Paris, it seems. They had an amazing dinner at a French bistro.
Mhm. They never say the name of either.
I know. She goes, you must go before like
And they
the
don't
times."
go, where?
Yeah.
What's it called?
They didn't care.
they don't
Miranda
care.
and Carrie are like, we'll never go there.
So yeah, so it's Skipper seems very happy with his new beau, and they walk away, and Miranda says, What does she say?
What a self-important bitch.
Yes. No, she says, who's that self-important bitch?
Yeah, who is that self-important bitch?
So hilarious.
That's not relatable.
So relatable. Could be the nicest, most like perfect girl, and you hate her, and there's nothing that you can do about it.
And someone you didn't want. You didn't want him. You were done with him, but then you see him with another girl who's cool, and you're like, oh, I like him again.
You know, I've been through this.
So yes, I
times.
wrote this reminded me so much of you.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Do you have any specific instances?
I don't want to get too specific.
Yeah.
But and I think you know what I would say. But yeah, I was, broke up with
somebody, and very, very close to that breakup. He was already going on a family trip with another girl, which it's not like I'm sitting here like, oh God, I got to get him back. But I am a little bit curious. I think, and I don't think it has anything to do with, I don't think I would be Miranda in this situation and call him up and be like, but I would be like obsessed with the girl. Like, yeah. I think that I'm more about like stalking her Instagram and like figuring out who she is and like, is she cooler than me? Like,
yeah.
And you can't really do that at that time because there's no social media, which God would have been great. Saving a lot of like doom scrolling.
Yeah, if you didn't have that ability to see who he's Venmoing and then go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, not the Venmo.
I've found
many
a relationship through Venmo.
Definitely.
It's very funny because I just think we can all like, has he been working out? Like it's so transparent, but it's so classic. They do just become like, oh, I was done with him, but wait, like
it's
maybe
so
not
true.
that done,
Yeah, it's so true. And I wonder if this happens with guys. Do they do the same thing?
Yeah. Have had my college boyfriend. We broke up. He broke up with me, and then I start dating other guys, and then all of a sudden he's like, wait, actually, yeah, this happened with cut this out, but he broke up with me at the start of freshman summer, and then I had like the best summer ever, went to 6th Street every night, posting, like meeting boys, like, and he's
Classic.
having a fucking lame summer, not doing anything, whatever. And then he wanted to get back together because I looked like I was thriving.
Yeah.
Which it works for a brief period of time, but I think if someone breaks up with you, they don't like you.
Yeah, and I've definitely done the thing where I got dumped and I tried to post a lot and I tried to make it look like I was having the best time of my life. And that didn't work. So sometimes it just doesn't work.
We'll see. Carrie does the 1998 version of this later on.
Oh, yeah.
So messy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she calls him mid-coitus.
Oh, God. God.
So the first time I watched this years ago, my jaw was on the floor. Today, when I watched this, my jaw was also on the floor. It's the craziest thing.
And this is when everything goes out the window for Skipper. I hate him now.
I hate him.
So yeah, Skipper's literally inside somebody, and Miranda calls him and is like, I gotta see you. I miss you. And he breaks up with her right there.
She goes, are you breaking up with me while you're inside of me?
Can you imagine?
No, it was crazy.
Can you imagine?
No, literally jail and death. And
I hate Skipper, and I hate Skipper because he was my favorite.
No, I hate Skipper for doing this to this poor woman.
This poor cool Vogue chick.
Just call her after.
Dude, you don't
have to finish. Just like say you got a stomach ache or whatever.
Something.
But doing it while you're in, God, it was so
bad.
Bad. It was so bad. So Miranda just ruins his life, basically.
Yes.
Fully. Hey, Skipper. So then Charlotte goes exclusive with her boyfriend. Samantha is still banging her agent. And now we're back to the Carrie and Big date.
Carrie and Big takes Carrie to this, looks like a really cool, just like
dinner party.
Yeah, I guess. The kiss on the lips.
Oh my gosh.
Jump scare.
Jarring.
Absolutely. I screamed.
No, me too. My jaw was on the floor. This woman's tits are out too. She's got like
she's gorgeous.
Gorgeous, tall brunette.
Oh my God.
He loves like a lanky,
he loves
tall
a model.
brunette.
He's a modelizer.
Yeah, he's a modelizer. She kisses him on the fucking mouth.
Oh.
What would you do? Like if I were Carrie, I
would have to say so. I could not I would have to, and I would say something to her. I would be like, I'm literally here with him.
I would throw up.
I wouldn't try. I don't think I would be like bitch and like hit her in the face or anything, but like I would be like, I'm here with him. Like, you see that. That's a hello.
I would first break out into a cold sweat.
God.
I might throw up into my glass. Set that down. Because that's how much I hate confrontation. And then I would say, hi.
I'm literally on his arm. That's crazy.
Did you just, am I too short? Is that it? Are you, because you're just so much taller than me?
But then am I literally invisible? And then I would go, and then like you'd go through all the phases of grief. And then I would go to big and I'd be like, why wouldn't you say something?
Why wouldn't you say something?
And then I'd be pissed at him and I wouldn't be mad at her anymore. And then I'd be mad at myself. It would just be it would be horrible. And it gets worse. So then Big takes her over to meet one of his friends. And I'm like, oh, this is nice. He's introducing her to one of his friends. And he goes, hi, I'd like you to meet blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, this must be Julia.
Oh my God.
The fact that this exact thing has happened to me.
No.
Including the name.
The name.
The name.
Oh my God.
All the exact situation. It was at Brad's work. One of his employees thought that I was his ex-girlfriend, but
this must be Julia.
This must be Julia.
Oh, God.
No, I'm in fact not Julia.
No, but nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. Yes. So, oh God, it's just, and it gets so much worse.
And he goes, she writes a column called Sex in the City.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, oh, well, it's a good thing you're with him. He's going to give you a lot of material.
God.
She's so mad.
Yeah. Just like repeated stabs in the stomach.
No, literally.
It just keeps getting worse. And she goes, oh, are we dating? I thought we were just sleeping together. And I love that.
She's had it.
And she's
totally
had it.
had it.
She's had it. And you would think at this point, Big might see that she's not really in the mood for jokes.
No.
But then he says, oh, well, I'm guessing after tonight, neither.
Jail.
Done.
You cannot. That's what you're going to say?
This isn't a joke.
Oh, she's being a bitch.
Not going to sleep with her tonight.
Oh my God. I like that she's just decided, no, this is everyone else's problem now. I'm not going to just sit here and be fucking disrespected left and right at this party.
Absolutely making a scene. Absolutely.
Oh, we're dating? I thought we were just sleeping together. Honestly, great comeback.
Yeah.
So she takes him aside. He goes, let's go talk. And she confronts him. He's being super cagey. She says, how many women are you with? And he goes, in the tri-state area? Shut up.
Done.
You think you're being cute? Shut up.
You thought I was done earlier? No. Now I'm really done.
I'm going to punch you in the face now. And I'm going to go punch that woman in the face too.
Everyone's getting punched in the face.
Everyone's getting punched in the face now. And then he says, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know, basic respect.
Decency.
And I want to go to a party with you and not have
Be
this
humiliated.
fucking happen.
Yeah. Not have you literally kiss another girl right in front of me.
Literally.
And so before I was kind of, it might be controversial, but I was on Big's side.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, they haven't had the conversation.
Yeah.
He is technically free to date other people. I think that he should be a little bit more fucking respectful about it and maybe a little bit more secret. And now, no. God, no.
No.
God, no. This is not
It's so
okay.
shitty. It's really, really shitty. Just like this, like, what do you want from me? Like, what do you mean? What do I want from? Like, I just want to be fucking treated like a person.
Yeah.
And like not feel like shit this whole party.
Yeah.
The kissing on the mouth was out of fucking pocket.
Oh, God.
It was so out
Jump
of pocket.
scare.
So she leaves. Respect. She said sometimes there's only one thing to do after a time like this, and that's attend a fabulous party.
Mm-hmm. which is such a classic line and such a classic look for her.
Yeah.
This dress is iconic.
She looks gorgeous.
She looks great.
She looks
so good.
It's a great color for her. She lets her hair down. She's going to smoke a fucking cigarette. Like
the dress, everything. And just a great Carrie moment.
It just feels like such a 90s episode where we're just continuously reminded of like the lack of technology in this episode. Like she just remembered that Jared invited them to that party at La Lune. She shows up and Stanford's like, oh, what a surprise. Like back in the day where you could just show up places and surprise people. And she knew she was on the list. It's definitely, it's a cooler party than that fucking party.
Yes.
30 under 30.
Way cooler.
But she doesn't care because she's having a bad fucking night and she's just there to piss off Big.
Yep.
So she runs into Stanford and then Justin, he goes to get her a Cosmo, and then we get to Miranda and Skipper in the meantime.
Yes. They're laying so cute together.
They are. No one lays
like that.
Sex.
No.
Can you imagine?
And Skipper's just looking at her like she's the most beautiful thing he's ever seen.
I know. And she's feeling that like post-sex regret of like, yeah, it was fun.
It's cool. And now, leave.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I dumped that girl like as soon as you called. And she's like, oh God, you did not have to do that. Please, no.
Please, no.
God.
And then she realizes like why she didn't like him in the first place.
And then you always know. And and this happens too, where like you figure out, oh, I miss this person because they're with someone else. And then you're like, oh, wait, there was reasons why I didn't want this in the first place.
And then you realize you can get them back and there's nothing grosser. You're just like, oh, no, I didn't actually.
No.
Like, I just want to see if I could.
Yeah.
And now I have.
And that like morning light regret.
Yeah. And this is a little pathetic.
Yeah.
And then it's on him for telling her what happened. Like, he's like, I broke up with her while we were having sex. She goes, that's fucking crazy.
That's crazy.
She's like, that's not good, Skipper.
Not good.
He should not have told her that. Play your cards.
No,
better,
he's not doing well with women right now.
No, that's on him.
Yeah.
And I hope that other girl never takes him back because he needs to learn a lesson a little bit about being a fucking pick me.
And then, And Miranda, she's kind of like, no, I think that we should see other people. I'm not just your private stud horse,
I wrote
Miss
that.
Dial a fuck. It's just so it's so good.
So Skipper, I'm not your stud horse. Yeah, I wrote that one down. It's a funny dichotomy, this kind of comparison between Miranda and Skipper and Carrie and Big.
Yeah.
Because it really is kind of two sides of the same coin. Carrie is playing the game much better than Skipper, but it is just this, there's always one person with the power in the relationship. And Miranda's got the power in this one.
Yeah.
Big's got the power in theirs.
Yeah, and Carrie's just the Miss Dial a fuck.
Miss Dial a fuck. Carrie's a private stud horse. So Skipper, he picks back up some of his dignity and kind of confronts her as he should, I suppose. And she's just like, get out.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Get out of here.
Then we have Charlotte. Why is the dog always staring at them? It's just like,
hate that.
I hate it. It's just staring.
They're back on this weird couch. Just go to the bedroom. They're not making out for 3 seconds.
And he's just
before he's shoving her head into his lap.
It's awful. It's so gross.
Just wait, like a little bit. When has that worked for him, I wonder? That has to have.
It has to have, and I have a feeling maybe that might have been a more common thing maybe in the 90s. I don't know. This was like 20 years ago. I mean, that seems so appalling to me.
No.
Like, it seems so appalling to me that a man would ever do that. That's crazy.
No, it's bad.
It's so gross.
And she's had enough.
No, she's like, and she tells him outright, I don't like it. And
because she keeps getting into these. She has to just like confront these men.
She's having to have these crazy confrontations. She was
first
like,
up the butt. No.
Yeah, I don't like this. I don't want to do it. And he's like, well, why don't you just do it for me? And she's like, I don't want to. Like, would you want me to do something that I don't want to do? Which I thought was actually like a great response of like, would you not want me doing something I don't want to do? And I would imagine, I don't know, maybe guys have some weird kinks about that, but like I don't think that most men would want you doing something you didn't want to do. I think half of the fun of it is someone wanting to do that for you, you know? So it's not sexy or cool if there's not consent involved.
You want just like a sad blowjob?
Yeah, exactly. Like
Not eager at all?
that doesn't sound
No.
fun. And yeah, this guy just kind of says, well, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, well, he's like, well, I'm going to get it somewhere.
Yeah, he says, I'll have to get them somewhere else,
Come
which I
on,
found
man.
so okay.
At that point, you just say, this isn't going to work.
yeah, gross,
You don't say-
dude.
And then Charlotte gets all like sweet and sentimental. And she's like, I could possibly be the future mother of your children. You know, I want to share your fears and your desires and your wants and all this stuff. It's really sweet.
And you would give that all up for a blowjob.
Yes.
And he basically, yeah.
And he goes, yeah.
The
And
answer is yes.
The answer is yes. And then he says the God forbidden line, well, at least lick my balls.
At least lick my balls.
Unfortunately, I feel like that has been said to me before.
Oh
Like if I'm not in the mood, they're like, well, at least do this.
At least do
Like a
this.
hand job?
Yeah.
Like, or so, it's always like something.
There's always bargaining involved.
Yes.
Like,
Like, can I just fucking like,
can I just exist?
yeah.
Can
Can I
you-
just watch my show?
Yeah, can I just watch?
Can I
my
watch
show?
Idol and fucking eat ice cream?
Can you at least lick my balls? No, I can tell you, I would like to do that less than I would like to
Way
give you
less.
a blowjob. That's gross.
Crazy.
That's so funny. Then we have My Best Dressed.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Well, I think everyone would say that probably.
It's a really good fashion episode.
Really good.
And she looks the best. She looks so fucking good.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Gasped.
I gasped as well. She's like, her body looks amazing.
Amazing.
I want this dress, but I know that I would not look as good. I did
You definitely, you
like
would
I'd
look great.
need
in
like
that dress.
3 pairs of Spanx with it.
She's also probably
She
wearing
looks
bunch of
so
Spanx. Yes.
They
she
walk
looks so
in.
good.
She finds this beautiful pre-war apartment, stunning, gorgeous.
She always gets herself in these situations.
Classic. I love. So they start having sex. We get a good boob shot.
Yeah.
She's got a perfect rack.
Yeah.
And then her old realtor comes in and
So
leaving with
classic.
Samantha. She's got the best fucking comebacks of anyone on this show. She said, "I can't believe you're working with another broker." And her tits are out.
Yeah.
And he's just holding
Yeah.
them from the back. And she goes, "I can't believe you weren't going to show
Show
me
me
this
this
apartment." She's so
Genius.
It's so genius. It's
Genius.
such a perfect comeback. I can't believe you weren't going to show me this apartment. I loved that scene. I burst out laughing, actually.
No, it was so good.
It was really funny. It's just this like slapstick portion of the show that is just fucking funny, you know?
Mhm.
They got the zingers.
I got the singers.
Now we go back to the sad stuff. Carrie's at the party. And, you know, me and you, when we got dumped, we would post on Instagram and, you know, maybe post a story or two on Snapchat, show them
Mhm.
what we're doing. But but Carrie, you know, that didn't exist.
You can't do that.
So her only option is to call on the
Oh.
landline of this
Crazy.
restaurant
Absolutely wild.
and basically say, "I'm about to bang another guy, asshole."
Yeah, and then have the guy talk in the phone. The craziest part of this is it works.
It's insane.
It absolutely works. And this insane behavior that she also did last episode where she shows up at his apartment
Yeah.
drunk and belligerent. All of this is working for
I
her.
could not believe it. I mean, the fact that he has the patience for any of this, she's like, and now his arm's around me and I'm going to go home with
I
him.
think he loves it.
He does.
I think he loves it because right there he's like, why don't you just come over? Like, come on. Like, stop with the games. Like, any other guy would hang up the phone, you know?
Yeah.
Be like, okay, I don't want anything to do with that.
He loves this crazy bitch.
He loves her. And she's like, come meet me at the front of the land. Like, immediately. Like, doesn't even
Like,
wait a
"Oh,
second.
Okay, you want to meet up again? Okay.
Okay.
Come meet me at the front.
And
It's
we've all been there.
been there.
Been
dude,
there.
Where you get in a fight, you leave, you go somewhere, maybe you post a story, they see that you're there, they call you, they say, come back over. You're just like, okay, I'll drop everything. I will, you know, not hook
It
up
might
with
be
this
4 a.m.
Yeah. And this is again, this just amazingly 90s storyline of he's on one side of the building, she's on the other. They don't know how to find each other. She's out there waiting for 45 minutes. And when she says, I was waiting for 45 minutes, I was like, oh my God.
No.
I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe it either.
Imagine if he didn't come, honestly,
I know.
and you were just waiting for
I was
45
like, oh
minutes.
God, he really stood her up. Like, he's not coming.
And then he could have just not come and said, like, I was there, I just couldn't find you.
Yeah.
And that would actually ended up being believable because they're,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes, they're having an argument about the front entrance versus the back entrance.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really know who was right, but we know that she's drunk. So
yeah,
it could be.
It could have been her fault for sure.
And she's got this great little monologue.
Mm-hmm.
I've done the merry-go-round. I've been through the revolving door. I feel like I met somebody I can stand still with for a minute, and don't you want to stand still with me?
But she doesn't ask him directly enough. She says, will
No.
you just stand still with me?
Yeah, she says, I've been through the revolving door of people, of relationships, and I just want to, and I finally found somebody that I can stand still with. Will you stand still with me?
It's like it's beautiful.
cute.
It's a very beautiful little line. It's wasted on Big.
It's wasted.
He said, you got me all the way here just so I would stand still with you.
It's like, God, why do you got to make everything into like a fucking, like, take something seriously?
Yeah, just be poetic for a second.
For a second.
I'm not asking you literally.
I'm not asking you to marry me right now.
Just fucking be a decent person.
Yeah.
You like me. You came all the way here.
Mhm.
Like, so then he stands still with her and she's smiling. He knows what she means, but he's not actually going to answer the real
really
question.
answering it. He kind of answers it by literally standing with her, which I think is kind of nice.
It is. It's romantic. It's, unfortunately a very romantic scene in an episode where you're kind of fucking pissed at this guy. But
it leaves you wondering, but it also leaves it up in the air. She didn't get an answer.
No, it gives you hope. I think the writing is really excellent to just kind of make you understand exactly how confusing he is, how heartbroken it can be, but then also finding him so unbelievably charming and interesting. And, you feel their chemistry.
Yeah.
And you also
kind of get it.
And you feel exhausted by the other guys too. You're not looking at fucking Jared and being like, oh, she should be with him instead.
Yeah.
He looks exhausting to me as well.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a good episode. I liked the episode.
Welcome to the Emmys. Awards.
It's time for the awards, everybody.
It's award season, everyone.
It's award season. Who won the episode?
I put no one really won the episode except for maybe Big.
Maybe Big. I said Samantha. I think Samantha won.
Yeah. I don't know. It just wasn't a big enough plot for me to give her the award. I think Big got everything that he wanted, and he still didn't have to answer the question at the end of the shows if they're exclusive or not.
Big definitely won, and I'm pretty sure I had Big written down, and then I was like, I don't know if I count Big for this, so I'm going to say Samantha, but Big also applies here. Who lost the episode? I think Carrie kind of lost, honestly.
Yeah, I ended up feeling sad for her.
Yeah,
most of the time.
I feel like Carrie kind of lost the most a little bit. She lost a little bit of her dignity, honestly.
Or the girl that got broken up with mid-coitus.
I think she dodged a bullet with Skipper.
Yeah, maybe she won.
that was pretty fucked up. That's a lose if I've ever seen it. Best outfit.
Samantha
red
hands
dress.
down.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that is coming up against Carrie in the silver dress.
Yeah.
It's coming up against Carrie in the blue dress.
I don't think anything could have really come up against those. And then that red dress is just breathtaking.
It was breathtaking.
With the tights and the little kitten heels. I think it's perfect.
On all fronts. It was a hard fought battle and the red dress won. Worst outfit? I said whatever Skipper was wearing. I don't know.
Yeah. I said Justin.
Yeah. Yes, that's definitely the answer. Him and his awful chokers.
Yeah, it was terrible.
He was
terrible.
You're totally right. By far the worst dressed. Best quote.
I don't know. I wanted to say, "Don't you want to stand still with me?" But that's kind of lame.
It is a nice quote. I had 2. Monogamy is fabulous. It gives you a deep connection with another person, and you don't have to shave your legs all that much.
Yep.
And then this is another corny one from the beginning. Lately, it seemed like the entire population of the city had been reduced to only 2 people, us, which I thought is very classic for that beginning stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Stand Still With Me, I think is a nice one too.
Cute.
Even though you're just pissed off.
I know.
The whole time. What aged the best?
I think the pre-war apartments.
Yeah.
It was so cute. I loved all the apartments she saw, actually.
They all looked awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
New York apartments. I mean, if you can afford them.
And they were probably way cheaper at this point.
Yeah.
I just said this whole trope still holds very true. Being vulnerable is terrifying and heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Is kind of the theme.
Yeah.
What aged the worst? This feels obvious.
Men's chokers.
Well, yeah, that too. I said blowjob tug of war.
Yes.
That aged very poorly.
Poorly.
In that I think today it is not even close to acceptable to do that.
No.
Who is the most toxic?
Miranda.
I said Miranda too. I said Big or Miranda or Carrie.
Yeah. Might be all of them. Samantha's the least toxic.
Samantha's the least toxic. Charlotte isn't toxic either.
Yeah, that's true.
Not in this episode at least. But yeah, I think probably Miranda if we really had to do one.
Absolutely.
Miranda fucking ruined Skipper's life.
God.
With no remorse.
No remorse.
But Carrie and Big, close second. Was this feminist?
Yes.
I wasn't sure, but it probably is.
Who knows?
Who knows?
What are we to say as feminists?
Who are we to say? We're not Gloria Steinem.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Rating out of 10, I liked this one a lot. I said 8.5 out of 10.
Really?
I really liked this one.
I said 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
That's fair. We didn't get a lot of no, I really liked it. I loved the girls' scenes. I loved the solo dinner with Miranda. I was thoroughly entertained the entire time. There was not a dull moment, really. We got Stanford.
And Skipper. But no, I hate Skipper.
Stanford, Skipper.
We got
Big.
Stanford.
We got all the big names.
All right, 10 out of 10.
And that's that, everybody.
That's that. Join us again next Wednesday.
Join us again
every
on
Wednesday.
Wednesdays.